In the rolling hills of Northern California's Suisun Valley, Rockville Cemetery stands as a haunting testament to the wild frontier spirit of the mid-19th century, a place where dreams of gold and new beginnings clashed with the harsh realities of disease, division, and death. Established in 1856 on land donated by pioneer Landy Alford, the cemetery and its adjacent Rockville Stone Chapel have witnessed over 170 years of triumph, heartbreak, and dark secrets. This is no ordinary burial ground. It's a mosaic of California's turbulent birth, etched in volcanic stone and shadowed by slavery's rift, natural disasters, and one of the state's most gruesome massacres. The story begins in 1846, amid the chaos of westward expansion. Landy Alford, a rugged Missouri immigrant, along with his family and son-in-law Nathan Barber, trekked across the continent as part of the infamous Donner Party caravan. Wisely splitting off at Fort Bridger to avoid the Sierra Nevada's deadly snows, they arrived in California just in time for the Bear Flag Revolt, a bold uprising against Mexican rule that helped pave the way for statehood. Barber, a key participant, even aided in rescuing the starving survivors of the Donner Party the following year. These men weren't just settlers, they were heroes of the frontier, claiming land in Suisun Valley and building lives from scratch. Tragedy struck swiftly. In December 1856, Alfred's 3-year-old daughter succumbed to the fevers that plagued pioneer children, becoming the first soul interned in what would become Rockville Cemetery. Heartbroken, Alfred donated the plot for the cemetery and the adjoining chapel, vowing it as sacred refuge. The chapel, constructed that fall from soft volcanic magnesium stone quarried nearby, rose quickly under the guidance of stonemasons Joel Price and George Whitley. Volunteers, farmers, miners, and families labored by hand, laying the cornerstone on October 3, 1856. By Christmas, it hosted its first service, dedicated in February 1857 by Reverend Bailey. This tiny rock-walled church emerged from the Methodist camp meetings along Suisun Creek, where families camped for weeks, baptizing in the waters and preaching under kerosene lanterns, sometimes shot out by rowdy cowboys who then lingered to hear sermons. The cemetery grew rapidly, filling with victims of frontier hardships, fevers, accidents, and the relentless toil of settlement. Today it cradles over 5,000 graves, meticulously maintained, just north of the Rockville Corners. While Rockville Cemetery lacks the star power of Hollywood memorials, it's a resting place for regional legends whose stories shaped California. Landy Alford himself died in the 1870s, and Nathan Barber both lie here, their graves marking the pioneers who bridged the old world and the new. Other notables include members of the Allison family tied to the historic nut tree legacy in nearby Vacaville, and early settlers like Josiah Allison, who planted a famed black walnut tree from seeds carried by pioneer Sally Fox. Charles Campbell, a local figure, met a dramatic end tied to the cemetery itself. His 1906 funeral was disrupted by aftershocks from the San Francisco earthquake, forcing mourners outside amid fears the chapel would collapse. Veterans from various wars, including Civil War soldiers, dot the grounds, their stones whispering the battles of far and near. Genealogical records reveal families like the Abernathys, Campbells, and Wolfskills, whose lives intertwined with the valley's agricultural boom, although weren't famous in a global sense, are still buried here and embody the dramatic essence of manifest destiny, ordinary people forged into icons by survival and sacrifice. Darkness descended in 1863 as the Civil War's ideological storm tore the congregation apart. On Christmas Eve, amid heated debates, the chapel's flock divided over slavery. Northern abolitionists stormed out one door while Southern sympathizers claimed the space, hammering a plaque that reads, M.D. Church South, 1858. This fracture mirrored the nation's wounds, leading to a slow decline. Attendance dwindled post-war. The last resident pastor, Reverend B.J. Waff, departed in 1895. The chapel decayed, windows shattered, roof leaking, floors rotting, like a metaphor for unresolved divisions. By 1929, the building was donated to Solano County as a pioneer memorial, but the Great Depression stalled restoration until 1940, when the Works Progress Administration, WPA, intervened. Led by locals like Rose Lee Baldwin and L.M. Robbins, they rebuilt the roof, restored pews, and rededicated it on Memorial Day. Declared California Historical Landmark number 779 in 1962, it now hosts Church of Christ services, weddings, and funerals. The cemetery's darkest chapter unfolded in 1928 with the Lung Ying Massacre, one of California's most horrific crimes. Lung Ying, a dismissed ranch cook fueled by opium and revenge, returned to the Bryan Ranch near Rockville, 5 miles from Fairfield, and slaughtered 11 people, including 3 children, with an axe and rifle. He had been fired for assaulting his employer's daughter. His rampage left 4 others wounded. The victims, mostly Chinese farm workers, were initially buried in a mass grave at Rockville Cemetery after a somber procession in Suisun City. Later exhumed by the Tung Sen Benevolent Association and reburied in Colma's Chinese Cemetery, their temporary internment stains the grounds with tragedy. Lung, sentenced to death, hanged himself in San Quentin, buried there under Lung Ying. The 1906 earthquake's terror during Campbell's burial, the cowboys' disruptive gunfire at camp meetings, and echoes of Native American displacement, Rockville Cemetery remains a beautiful, preserved portal to the past, its stones standing eternal amid brooding oaks. Yet beneath the serenity lies a dramatic saga of human frailty, where heroes rest, divisions scarred the soul, and blood once soaked the nearby soil.